host, Daniel Faust. I hope you enjoy our live content, watching it either through Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, the Easy Way Wall, even on Twitch. You ever thought we'd be on a gaming site? Woo! Anyway, we help military veterans and first responders transform their lives from the bedroom to the boardroom. And this week, we're in the virtual boardroom, and this month, we're talking about vision. And what we're talking about today is specifically, we're here to stay. This digital world is not going to go away. Some of us, like myself, at least on my military side, I can go back to work. I can choose to work at home. I have that flexibility, but some of us had to go back to work, while others of us are going virtual, and we're not going back because of COVID, because of expense, whatever it is. Now, before COVID hit up, I saw this fact that I thought was very interesting because I was doing a lot of entrepreneurial things. By 2025, 79 million Americans will be working on their own business or working virtual. And this was pre-COVID. We're only 4 years away from that prediction. Do you really think it's only going to be 79 million Americans, which is roughly 25% of our population, that's going to be quote unquote working virtual? I think it's going to skyrocket up. I think it's going to be way higher than that. So I hate to break it to you, no matter if you're military veteran, first responder, no matter if you're in your war hero stage or you're transforming the superhero, the digital world is here to stay. Woo! We'd love to hear your comments in the feed to go over and hear what your thoughts are on the digital world here to stay. But what happens is as we've been watching, if you watch America's Got Talent, The Tonight Show, or you're ready to watch the Golden Gala on the Easy Way Network, which is one of our streaming points, they're going on August 26th. They're doing the whole Golden Gala, which is like the Emmys or the Grammys. They're doing it all virtual. They're building a virtual stage. They're building a golden carpet to go over and honor God's people that went over and thrived. And it's like going to the Emmys. Famous, impactful people and people that are making influence and change around the world are doing the whole entire event from their homes in streaming. And they're doing it really high end. I got a privilege to go over and to bring someone into the fold of this. So you're going to see this huge as you go over and watch. August 26th, if you want to go watch it for free, if you want to be part of the VIP, just like the AGT's got their digital wall, you can be part of their digital wall and experience for roughly $99. But it doesn't matter what you're watching, either America's Got Talent, The Tonight Show, The Golden Gala, this world and these things and more are going virtual. How many people are used to Zoom meetings? Aren't you Zoom tired? Tell me how tired you're in Zoom in the comments. I'd love to go over and hear. I know for me, certain days, like on Thursday, I have like one meeting. It used to be all virtual. It used to be a 2-hour boardroom meeting. And then I would go get a lunch. And then I would go into another virtual meeting that was at headquarters in Georgia. And yet I'm supposed to be there. And then I went to another virtual meeting for podcasting. So if you like to do dynamic interactive podcasting, Pedopolo was that meeting. They're fantastic. And then I went to another meeting I used to go to for training for coaching. I've had some down since then, but went from virtual meeting to virtual meeting to virtual meeting. So this and more is going virtual. I play Facebook Horizons on the beta test in the VR. We're going there. We already do this in our phones every single day. So if you don't like it, it's going to be hard. Because eventually, even if you're military and you're doing a hands-on job, and maybe you're one of the few that will be left, our military, our government, and our first responders, whoever you are, it doesn't matter if you just enlisted yesterday, been on your first enlistment, or you're at your 20 to 30 year point. All those points will go over and end. You'll get out of the military, you'll retire out of the government job, the first responder job will eventually retire, leave, maybe you separate, maybe you go over, maybe you got injured and left early. Whatever it is, everything has an end. These are, in our worlds, of these worlds, it's one of the few worlds that don't go virtual, but we're even seeing that in professional military education. We're seeing that with electronic respondents. It's coming. It's coming. I think that's going to be very few times we're going to be physically sitting in these boardroom seats. So you will enter the digital world. Tell me if you're really happy to go over and joining it. Like it or not, love to hear your comments. You're going to enter the digital world that's going to go over and happen. So instead of going over like, let's not whine about it. Let's go over and get ahead of the game. So what I want to go over and do is give you about 8 to 10 tactics on what I think is going to get you ahead. I have about 15 years of IT experience from the military and civilian sector, so I can break this down to you very easily because I used to teach this stuff in person and now I teach it virtual. So I wanted to give you some quick tips, no matter if you're IT low or IT high. Wanted to give you some quick tactics to go over and do that. So first one, get ahead. Tactic number 1, learn Zoom. Now, if you're on the military side, you'll only be able to use it very little. Usually has to be stuff that's unclassed, but if you're going over in the government or you're in the first responder sector, and especially if you're transforming it to that, Zoom is the way. The schools are going over and using it for our kids. There's 1.5 billion people that are going over and using it, approximately. Some people go different. No matter what it is, if it's Zoom, GoTo, webinar, whoever it is, Zoom is king. So you might as well go over and learn Zoom. And I don't mean just the basics, just click on the button and go ding ding here. Like how to be interactive in the text, how to go over and click the yes no buttons, how to add those features in, how to use a breakout room, changing your name, muting yourself, getting your camera just right. I'm still practicing this even with digital television in this particular regard, how to keep my eyes on you. But it's a lot easier in the Zoom than it is on digital TV, but learn Zoom and learn how to use it well. Next one on get ahead tactics number 2, take online CBTs, and especially if you're still connected with the military, government, and also the first responders. Now, we personally, I'm going to say as a whole, the majority of us hate it on there, unless you're the people programming them. Now, Army, I got to give you credit. You do awesome. Out of all the branches I've worked with, you do the best. You make it the most entertaining. It's the most graphically intensive and everything else. The rest of the branches, I'm sorry, I got to give Army its props. So, but no matter what it is, take those online CBTs because there's a lot of learning, a lot of investing. Soft skills, hard skills, maybe things you need to learn for the next, like if you're transitioning to government work out of the military, or if you're trying to go over and grab another job, you can actually use those CBTs and then count that. Some of them, depending on the career path, can be linked to CEUs, which are continuing education units. You can then even get upgrades or even degrees. A lot of the branches in governments will say you do these certain classes online, you can go over and get credit. So why not embrace them? Because that's going to be probably the norm on a lot of learning. They're looking at doing K-12. There's like an initiative of K-12 worldwide through interactive TV. You'll maybe start hearing that in the next few years. I've heard that down the pike. And the thing is that those things could come down the pike, and we're going to have to get used to that world. So if you want to get ahead, learn how to go over and grasp those and actually embrace them. There's a lot of money even going becoming those people. When I had an opportunity, I had an opportunity for an internship. It didn't happen, but they said they were going to initially offer me $17 an hour to intern with them. I'm like, woohoo! And I had availability to do it. It just didn't pan out, contract, whatever. But the average person gets paid $35 to $45 an hour to make those things. So if you embrace them now, maybe you got a new digital track in the new world. And there's places you can build courses too. Get ahead tactic number 3, learn to automate tasks. So in my world on the military side, I've learned to go over and schedule appointments, schedule taskers, maybe have an email send out automatically, have computer programs go over and figure out stuff, use Excel, conditional formatting, that type of stuff. If you learn how to automate tasks now, especially in the Microsoft Office suite, most people don't know how to do that in the boardroom. They either hand jam the thing or somebody built the process or whatnot. If you learn how to go do that, you are making bank in the sense of your position in there. Especially if you're already going to have to work at home and you can automate a task and free your life, now you're really balancing the bedroom to the boardroom thing. So that's a great tactic across the board, is if you can go automate a task. take those few minutes to like Google 10 to 15 minutes a day how to go do something, how to make something auto highlight or whatever. See if there's a way you can create a process that does automatically. We used to book appointments by a little micro bot that we built, and you'd be able to get through like 10 out of the 15 steps of the booking process. It made it a lot when you're answering a phone call, like, whoop, and then you click it, and it would get to the point of just the final booking. Save me tons of time. So learn how to automate some tasks. Get ahead tactic number 4, embrace texting and build a thick skin. Now I want to hear who likes texting, who doesn't. I'd love to hear that in the chat. Me personally, I hated it at first, but now I embrace it. I'm using it on a regular basis. I've been using it for the past 10 years, but when me and my wife first got married in 2006, especially T9, you were like, she went super fast. Oh, I'm hitting buttons. So when we went to T9, I was like, slow down. Once I went to keyboard, 40 keyboard, gone. Now, I'm not the texter with the zipping finger. I haven't embraced that, but I do embrace texting. I also use the audio text. I love that. Embrace texting and build a thick skin, because this is what happens most people forget. Tone on a text is 82%. And a lot of times people don't even know they're giving tone. They could be really direct or really, really rude. That happens the same thing in emails. And they're just trying to say something, and they can be saying it the friendliest way on their desk, but the way they write it and the way we convey it, we're like, that sick son of a whoop, So you got to go over and embrace texting if you want to gain this digital world. Less and less people are answering the phone. More people are going to email. More people are going to texting. 98% of messages, it's maybe a little less now, of text get answered in 2 minutes. You want to go to old school phone? You might not get as many people. You could actually even learn to get sales. If you want to go learn to get sales and use artificial intelligence, I highly recommend you to go to crackmycode.com. Thrive Not Surviving will crack your code. And if I'm too busy to connect with you to learn this stuff, I have other consultants that can help you go over and do that, to basically use artificial intelligence to connect with people to increase your sales. But in general, overall, embrace texting, build your skin, get it thick. Don't take those things personally. Get ahead tactic number 3, be okay at failing. Most of us weren't born IT savvy. Me, I learned it over 15 years. I know how to go manage this stuff and whatnot, the majority of the time. I'm still learning the balance of like now managing the video technology, making sure I keep eye contact with you all and whatnot, and to connect with you all and whatnot. But be okay in failing. Embrace authenticity, because this is what happens, is that if we go over expect to do it perfect, we're just going to beat ourselves up. And we don't need to have that emotional baggage, especially in the virtual boardroom, because it's already hard enough and we don't get that physical connection. We got to not flog ourselves in this particular. So be okay in failing. It's your first attempt in life. If you're the one that goes on the Zoom and accidentally puts your forehead this high and people are laughing, embrace the laughter. It's okay. And embrace authenticity. In this world, especially if you start jumping into digital world, into podcasting, broadcasting, digital TV, we'd love for you to join us if you have a military veteran first responder show. Embrace it. The first 100 episodes are probably going to suck, which is going to go into our next tactic. Get ahead tactic number 6. Do one thing better each time. The reason why the 100 best YouTubers in the world are the 100 YouTubers in the world. Mr. Beast, for example, he's one of the top 100. He's at over 42 million. My kids go over and love him. Yes, there's some things about Mr. Beast you might like or not like, but what he went over and did is super successful because he did this. He embraced the first 100 videos were going to suck, and he did one thing better each time to improve. And over the years, he went from a few people to some people to now lots and lots of people. It's the same thing we're doing each and every day. Yes, our stuff is not as crazy, but we're concerned about authenticity and connecting with you. So we try to do one thing better each and every time, which I found out at the end, and I'm going to show you at the end. Get ahead tactic number 7. Learn from your friends and your coworkers while we still have time. And what am I saying that? We're eventually going to get to the new normative. We're still kind of figuring this out. We haven't gone up through year season. Once we get to outside of virtual school apocalypse and we have a groove and everything else, we're going to get to a new normative. Same thing happened in 9/11. Same thing happened in 2008 tax return. 2008 crash, not tax return. My 2008 tax return was awesome. But yeah, so take this time. Your friends and coworkers are going to be still more free. They're maybe not as more free as they were in March, but they're more free than what they normally are, especially if because people are going to speed things up. We even got told this in professional military education, like, hey, this is going to be a time of leniency. Take advantage of it. It's going to be simpler. It will get harder. Once we get a groove and everybody's got a normative, same thing happens in our PT test, same thing happens in everything else. Take this time. I'm predicting another 3-4 months until we get to a somewhat normative, probably by January 15th, between January and February 15th. Then these jobs, and a lot of companies are going to be like, hey, we're up in the standards. We need to do this. We can't handle this anymore. We need to go over and go whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. So embrace the digital world, learn as much as you can, learn from friends and coworkers. Maybe they have remote software that takes over the computer and they still show you. Maybe you put your both mask on and you risk that friend that you're willing to quote unquote get COVID with and learn it, or maybe digitally go on there and maybe do it at home. But yeah, see if your friends can go over and help you. Glean off that. Maybe even it's a phone call and they walk you through the process. Especially if you're military, government, or first responder, a lot of our IT systems allow us to do amazing things. We can go over and share screens, take control of things. Why not go learn it while you can, while things are slow? Because once it gets super fast, everybody's going to get super busy again, and you're going to wish that you took the time, and you're going to be behind the power curve. Get ahead. Get ahead. All right. Gain a quick IT hack of the day each and every day. Maybe you go to CNET. Maybe you go to Microsoft TechNet and just go learn some quick hack. Like if you're doing a lot of office work, Excel in Access is king. Excel, I would recommend using before you go over and use Access. I'd recommend using Access before you use Oracle, or whatever it is software that you go over and use. You want to go learn those IT hacks. Like one of the IT hacks I'll share with you today is if you're wanting to go over into video podcast and do digital television, this great platform called StreamYard is a fantastic way to go over and to do that. You can stream to 8 different locations. You can stream to RMTPs. It's all web-based. You can go over and just get yourself a 1080p camera or get yourself a good laptop or a good desktop. You can even go 720p or lower if you don't have the high-end cameras, because on most streaming platforms, you can go 480 to 720. You're doing digital TV, you want 1080, and you can literally do the episode, record it, or you can go live. If you go over and record, I can show you another IT hack on to make it looking going live while you're going over and recording. And you can go over and do these great banners. You can do the great logo. You have the time clock, so you can go over and keep track. It says if you have to hit a certain time threshold. Most digital television shows, by the way, that we go and produce, if you're doing a 30-minute episode, it's 25 minutes. If you're doing an hour episode, it's 50 minutes. I love the little clock that's live in the upper, this corner. Sorry. Nope, that corner. Yeah, that's the one thing I'm still learning. That's my hack. How do I get my hand in the right spot in the screen? Left is right and right is left. So that's your IT hack. Get ahead. Tactic number 9, watch YouTube. You can learn a lot of IT wisdom really quick in a fun, innovative way on YouTube. It might be us if we're doing that one day, if we have an episode, but most of the time we don't. But you can go learn a lot of IT hacks from YouTube, just watching quick 2, 3, 5, 15-minute videos. You take and you learn those digital tactics or hacks and whatnot from YouTube, and you learn one a day. By the time it hits February or March, roughly 6 months from now, you learned 180 different things, and you might not realize how wise you are and how far you got ahead just by watching YouTube. Now, you want to watch Cookie Swirl all day, that's your choice, but I'd recommend educational YouTube. Get ahead tactic number 10. This one is, I think, one of the most important ones. I see my kids, at least the younger generation, doing this, and I probably did the same. I just have to reevaluate myself. It is better to be thorough than fast. Have you gone over and done things so fast and then find out it got returned to you? I know I do this occasionally. I'll go over and, now I think about it. When it comes to paperwork documentation, I try to go thorough, but sometimes I go fast. I'll mislabel an email address. I've done that at least a couple times, at least a week. I'll go over and miss a signature and whatnot, and I thought I had it. In this world, especially in the digital world, your mistakes get held really fast and really quick once you click the send button. I've had several times I click send, I'm like, no, and it's stalling there, and I wish I could hit the X button, and I can't. I've tried to hit that, retract button in the email, and you're like, I hope. And you get some, and others get it. And then later on, you get that message. Why didn't you go over and do this? This was wrong, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I didn't mean to. So it's better to be thorough than fast. What do you think about that? Do you think it's better to be thorough than fast? Our superhero challenge of the day. No matter if you're watching this live on Facebook, YouTube, any sort of social media that we go over and use, how do you get ahead? So I'd love to go over and hear, how do you get ahead? Share it in the comments. And this is our also IT hack that I learned today personally for myself, is that if you are military, veteran, and first responder, and you're struggling in this vision in the boardroom, and you're having trouble getting ahead, we love to go over and connect with you. There's two ways that we normally connect with our people. Obviously in the comments, in the dialogue, in this live, or on the replay. That's the regular one, but the two main ways, if you want to take your War Hero to superhero transformation a little bit faster, you can go over and either give 20 minutes. See, this is authenticity, that we go over and give you 20 minutes free each and every time we talk in each of the episodes. So your first 20 minutes is free. Any military, veteran, first responder, you can go over and connect with us. Our second option is if you want to take your War Hero to superhero to the next level past the 20-minute consultation, you can go to patreon.com/thrive-not-survive and join our Patreon. You can either become that marriage superhero at $5 a month. If you want to become that leadership superhero in the boardroom, that's $25 a month. And if you really want to go up there, we have a $100 program that makes you that War Hero to superhero transformation and get into that superhero sanctum. And our hack for today that we learned IT to get ahead is when you have running at 1080p and you're running on a discounted laptop, you go over and you don't do the ticking banner. You know why? Because the ticking banner takes up bandwidth, and then your system slows down, and then you're lagging. When you do just the banners that flash, you go through 1080p. So make sure, if you are using StreamYard, your IT hack for today to get ahead in the boardroom is don't use the banners unless you have a lot of high, fast through computer. Now, I thought my computer was super fast with quad core and 16 gigs, but that was 2 generations ago. So I'm good for now, but that's what we learned on there. So we hope that you have gotten ahead in this episode, that you have thought of some tactics. We'd love for you again to go over and share in the Superhero Challenge, no matter if you're watching this on Podopolo, the Easy Way Wall, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're getting your live streaming content, even Twitch. So we hope to connect with you. Please go over and join. Please go over and subscribe wherever you're going over and watching, so we can help more military, veterans, and first responders transform their lives from the bedroom to the boardroom